Hi, my name is Dr. Elizabeth Cohen, and I'm going to be your instructor for this class, COMM 654, Social Marketing. Before I tell you what social marketing is, let me tell you what it's not, because there's not just confusion among students, but even the business school on campus, when I was putting this class together, contacted me and said, wait a second, you can't do a class on social media marketing, which is what everybody assumes it is, because that's what we do. And I'm like, no, 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 no. This class has nothing to do with social media. The word social, I don't know, that like kind of got, um, the social network sites or whatever, like sort of took that word social. So anytime anybody hears social and marketing, they think it's social media, but that's not true at all. Social marketing actually predates social media by quite a while. In fact, the authors of your book, who are the gurus of social marketing, I think coined that term back in the 1970s. But honestly, the study of social marketing had happened a lot longer than that, because really what social marketing is, it was sort of the realization that we could take the same theories and understanding of how to push a product towards somebody in the same way that you think about marketing of different consumer products, toilet paper or orange juice or clothing, right? Like all of the different ad campaigns that you see that are trying to push you different types of products, right? There's all these strategies that have been developed over the years to try to understand how people are going to respond psychologically and how you should tailor the message towards different types of audiences. Social marketing was is the culmination of the realization that you could take those same principles that we use to sell things, to make people buy things, and we could make them buy or adopt different types of behaviors, right? We could actually change people's behaviors, not just make them buy things, but actually make them change the things that they do to adopt new habits or stop doing things that maybe they shouldn't be doing in order to improve their health or to benefit the environment. So anytime you see like public health campaigns that try to get people to do something, so donate money to some certain cause. Right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. I can't think of any specific campaigns, but there's a big push to get people to wear a mask, right? That's a social marketing topic because there's a concerted effort, right? There's media messages and certain audiences that are being targeted in order to convince people to put on a mask, right? To change their behavior. And again, the whole idea with social marketing is that if you understand a little bit about just marketing in general, you can apply the same principles to get people to put on a mask when they go out in public or whatever. Anyway, as your book says, social marketing is about changing behaviors for good. So the only thing I really want to say off the bat, which you'll learn about a little bit more, is that as you're thinking about social marketing, if you're wondering like, oh, is this social marketing or not? Think about not-for-profit type of endeavors, right? It's not about a political campaign where you're trying to get somebody elected. That's a political campaign. It's not about trying to get people to buy something or spend their money. You're not trying to, or you're also not trying to lobby, right? It's not about trying to persuade politicians. This is about trying to persuade the general public to do something that's for the greater good. So it's normally not-for-profit type of causes that we're going to be thinking about. And I know that not everybody in this program is working for like not-for-profit agencies or anything like that, but I think one of the reasons this class is part of the curriculum is because the persuasion techniques that we talk about, the idea, the steps that you go through to put together a campaign, on some level, although they differ, are kind of the same across the board. So if you get social marketing down, right, you have a lot of tools under your belt that can help you change behaviors in an organization, like many of the ones that you're working for, or even if it's not, just things that you care about. Okay. Textbooks, got them in my lap, which I haven't for a while actually. So let me tell you the deal with this. This is the 5th edition of your textbook, and as you know, again, written by Lee and Cutler, the gurus of social marketing. These guys have been in it for a while. 5th edition of the book, but also they came out with a 6th edition. And here's the thing: they came out with this in January, and I was like, okay, great. I will, even though I've been teaching from this edition of the book, I'll start updating things to be more, I don't know, in line with their examples and the order of their book. But then COVID happened. And this book was in my office, and I was at home because I wasn't allowed to go on campus. So I'm kind of in the process of moving the class over to be updated with, sorry, it's so weird. It's like a mirror. I can't figure out what you should see me try to parallel park. This is the most current book, okay? But I have read both of them, and I can tell you that with the exception of some updated examples, this one definitely has more updated examples. It has a couple of extra bullet points in some of the chapters, and there's some very slight differences in terms of how it's organized. Like in this chapter, what was chapter 4 or what was chapter 8 is chapter 4 here. But I mean, they're not really substantial changes, okay? So as I think, I emailed you a couple weeks or a month ago, and I said, like, if you get either one of these books, you'll be fine. Having said that, I do have to say that I kind of jump back and forth between the books that I'm referring to because I'm in the transition. I'm transitioning to this book, okay? But at the end of the day, get whichever book you want for whatever reason, and you will be fine. I wouldn't go earlier than this because I'm just not familiar with the other editions, but they could be fine too. And any time where there's been something slightly added, you're not going to be responsible for that material. I wouldn't do that to you. Just be aware that if you have the most current edition of the book, there might be some things that I don't address necessarily, and that's just because I haven't gotten around to it. Or maybe I don't think it was an important thing for them to add, but whatever. This is all, they got to make their money. I mean, I think it's good that books are updated, don't get me wrong, but it's also a business, right? Like, in order for them to, like, be able to sell these books or actually to be able to charge you more money, right? They have to keep cranking these books out every other year, so they have to have some justification. I don't necessarily think that everything they add is completely essential. So, look, bottom line, get whatever book floats your boat. You'll be fine, okay? But you do need the book. This is like, I mean, the truth is like, when I teach in my offline classes, the classes that I don't teach exclusively online, my books are usually kind of optional because I always say what I say in lecture is what I'm going to test you on. I wouldn't test you on something I didn't say. So in theory, you could get by without it. In this case, I guess the same is true, but it's really hard. If you do not have this book, it's going to be a struggle because my summary lectures that I'll give you in this class, which is just this, it's just me talking to you in a camera and I try to get it under 20 minutes. I'm just trying to hit the highlights, but the book has all these really rich examples and visuals, and it's extremely helpful in an online class where you have to really be kind of your own teacher sometimes. I consider myself in my online classes to be, unfortunately, because I like to be a little bit more hands-on, but just because of how it is online, I'm a guide, right? Like, I'm there to help you through it and give you extra supplemental material as you need it. But a lot of times, you really have to go through the chapter and see what you get and what you don't, and then come to me for help, like a private tutor, if you will, when something's not resonating or you need a little bit extra. So you need the book. Get a book. The other thing I was going to say in terms of just how, like, things you need in this class, routine is going to be really important. I don't know how to say this without, like, scaring the bejesus out of people who were in my 655 class. I saw there's a lot of you on the roster. Hi, guys. Looking forward to having you again. But is it not politically correct to say that, no, not politically correct. Is it not appropriate to say that 655, that class was easy? I'm sorry, but it is. It's just, if you basically do the work in 655, you can get a pretty decent grade in that class. It's structured like that. I know it. I expect some thoughtfulness in the, worksheets that you get every week, but there's nothing that I would say is particularly challenging. This class people really find to be challenging, not because it's hard, but because it's different. And I have found that people who've had me for both classes those who have this class first and then they take my 655 are like, oh, like, what's the catch, man? Like, you gonna like come at me with like some crazy feedback or what? And I'm like, no, 655 is pretty straightforward. 654, this class that you're taking right now, if you've had me for 655, I need you to know, I just want you to adjust your expectations. This is a whole different ball game. And part of the reason it's different is because unlike 655, if in 655, which, by the way, for those of you who weren't in it, that's a social media class. And basically, probably like a lot of your other classes in this program, let's say you have a really bad week. That's not going to necessarily be a problem. It's not going to affect all the things that happen after that week, okay? The problem with this class, not problem, but it's just the challenge of this class is that if you have a bad week in this class, it's going to affect what happens every week after, right? So it's not a class where you can fall behind. It's not a class where you can try to proceed without making sure that you have everything you needed to get in 1 week to the next week. And the reason for that, as you'll learn very quickly, is because there are steps to social marketing. Your book is organized in a step-by-step process of the actual steps that you need to go through to go on the campaign, and there's a logic to it. And I think that some people take this class and they still don't even understand the logic, but the ones who get it, like, really get it. The way that social marketing is set up is like, first, for instance, you need to, well, okay, here's an example. Social marketing dictates that you need to figure out who your audience is before you decide what you are going to ask them to do. A lot of times you're going to think about like, oh, well, what do I want people to do? I want people to stop smoking. Okay. But who is people, right? Social marketing set up in such a way that they're like, before you figure out what you want people to do, who do you want to reach, right? I think it's a very like human, it's a very human-centered process. And the step is, first, who do I want to help? And once I know who I want to help, then I figure out what I want them to do. Because if I want to help teens, then maybe having them stop smoking isn't as important as having them not start at all, right? Like, the behavior that you're going to want to change is going to depend on the audience. So the whole reason I'm bringing this up is to say that you're going to have all these ideas in your head and you're going to want to throw them out at once. But social marketing is going to be like, no, we have to go through the steps. And as a class, it becomes a problem because once you try to decide what behavior you want to do, I'm going to go back and say like, but you didn't have an appropriate audience or whatever. And I'm going to be like a huge, am I allowed to say bitch? I'm going to say bitch. Because it's going to come across that way and I don't mean it to be, but it's just, I can't let you move forward until after you get step 1 down. Then you can move on to step 2. And it's a lot of work for me to stop you and go and do that. But the reason I'm having this conversation with you right now is because I want to warn you about that. The challenge of this class is really that you have to kind of get with the program, so to speak, and stay on track. And if you fall behind, it's a problem. And again, if you're not getting things approved on a week-to-week basis, it's a problem. And on that note, shoot, I haven't even explained what the class is. So you get the book, it goes through the steps, and what you're going to do is the whole point of this class is you're supposed to develop your own social marketing campaign. So the entire class, you're going to be focusing on this one issue, and first you're going to pick the issue, and then you're going to decide what you want to accomplish. If your issue is climate change, okay, great. What is it you want to accomplish? You want to reduce carbon emissions, you want to get people recycling, like whatever it is, and then you're going to go through the steps of social marketing up until, right, you have this fully fleshed out campaign where you have like, okay, what kind of messages am I going to have? What are they going to say? Where am I going to put them? Am I going to put them on TV? Am I going to put them on the radio? Is it going to be social media? Is it well, all this stuff, right? So from start to finish, every week of this class pretty much is a step-by-step process where you're going through each of the steps to develop this campaign. And at the end of the semester, you're going to turn in a final project, which is a proposal, as if, you know, if you're in my line of work and you have to get money for things, you give a proposal to a funder, like a grant agency or something like that, where they're going to give you money to actually do this campaign. So the nice thing is, even though I'm kind of I won't say bitch anymore, I'll say stick in the mud about like your step-by-step process, and I'm going to be a thorn in your side to make sure you get it right each step of the way. At the end of the semester, your final project, which is half of your grade, should, ideally, if you do this right, not be anything really new, okay? The whole point is that at the end, you should take all of the little steps, all of the assignments that you've done throughout the semester, and be able to put them in a final paper, a final proposal for a campaign that you would like to see done on whatever topic you choose. So the way I'd like you to think about it is like, if you can put in the effort along the way up until about the end of October, November will be writing this little, I don't want to say little, sorry, I'm just being, you know, I'm just talking off the cuff here. You'll write this proposal, but it'll already be rooted in the work that you've already done, basically. So hopefully there won't be too much new work you need to do. And that's it, except for I want you to do a little show and tell at the end where you do exactly what I'm doing right here. You just talk to us and you're like, here's my campaign, pachoo, 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 and end of semester. So, but that's it. That's all, just a whole semester of work, whatever. But yeah, actually, no, that really is it. The first couple weeks of class are just going to be a couple of quizzes. You've got a syllabus quiz that you need to do this week. And then the next quiz is on those steps of social marketing that I told you about. And then it kind of gets real, where you have a really long worksheet that I'm going to give you 2 weeks to do because it takes a little outside research. That's where you're going to pick your topic, and I want you to literally go and do research, like get on the computer and type things in and go to Google Scholar and write up. Think about it like the introduction to your final paper, so you can check that off your list. And that's going to be due in about 3 weeks. I've made the first couple weeks of the semester available to you already on eCampus, so you can go ahead and work as much as you want. I know it's so, trust me, I know. It's very bizarre that you are starting on the 19th and everybody else at WVU is starting on the 26th. It's really weird for me too. But you don't have to turn things in until the end of the week that everybody else is starting. Like probably most of your classes, everything in this class is going to be due on Sundays at 11:59 p.m., end of the week. So long story short, for the next week and a half, just try to get your syllabus quiz done. Go ahead and read that first chapter, understand what social marketing is. And then the only other thing I'd like you to do, please, is just post on the discussion board for me. I know that you guys, if you don't already know each other, you're probably having to do introductions, for all your other classes. And I get it. You're probably sick of hearing about, what your names are and what your pets' names are and everything. Although I will tell you about my pets. You'll probably see them in some of the videos, especially now that I'm broadcasting from home. I should just mention, just during this transition, by the way, during this transition, some of the videos I'm updating and some of them I'm not. I don't know. I'm definitely going to update the first few. I actually kind of like the old videos that were based on this book. I don't know if I'll change them or not, but you will see me go through various iterations. Sometimes you'll see me on campus. If I'm on campus, that means that was recorded a long time ago. Sometimes you'll see me 5 pounds heavier, 5 pounds lighter. Hopefully you'll see my hair not so COVID-y. Weird adjective. You know what I mean though. I haven't got my hair done, but you'll see me in the past when it was done. It'll be like going through time. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted. That happens a lot too. But the bottom line is at the end of this week, I would like you to just post on the discussion board a topic that you think might, or a couple topics that you think you might want to just focus on all semester for your project. And I can give you a little bit of just initial feedback to be like, will this work or not? Most of the time, everybody gets on that pretty quickly, right? It's got to be some sort of like not-for-profit topic that you care about, that's meaningful for you, that you wouldn't mind researching and thinking about again for the next 3 months. But just go ahead and post what kind of ideas are coming to mind. And again, sometime in the next week and a half, I'll try to check in and, say hi and get you on track to get going. So post on the discussion board, take your syllabus quiz, and if you want, go ahead and jump into the first chapter and the quiz on the social marketing steps, and actually second chapter. See, I'm already getting confused. Whatever. You'll see it. It's all there on eCampus for you. If you have any questions, though, and you think I messed up on something, which is entirely possible, I'm trying to coordinate all this, I apologize. Just email me and ask me, and I'll be happy to figure out what's going on and help you. So Thank you. Looking forward to spending the rest of the semester with you, wherever you are. Bye.